Welcome back. And now it's time. Are you ready? It's time for the good news, the bad news, and the other shit. Well, Facebook friends and Twitch folks and all other folks, Twitter, Periscope, everybody, the president is on the run. It's a little bit, it's changing. You know, we had predicted things would jump off. They did jump off. And they've been building. For those of you who are unfamiliar with my predictions, go watch Pax Stereo's broadcast from 5/22 of last year, where I made my predictions. People have been reaching out to me and letting me know, that so far I'm the most on of anyone. I had the best predictions, the most accurate predictions of everyone. And so it's continuing. The president's on the run. Jared's lost his security clearance. I predicted he would go to jail. The question is, should Jared and Ivanka go back to New York? Hope Hicks is leaving. Best looking thing in the White House. Now the cutest girl in the White House is Jared Kushner.
Oh, I thought it was Kellyanne.
No, it was Kellyanne and Jared are competing for the cutest girl.
You're wrong, man. You're wrong. They got family.
Can you imagine Jared in prison?
Okay.
In fact, even when it comes to him and Ivanka,
I'm not wishing that on.
She probably breaks up the strap on him. Anyway.
See, there you go.
Mario starting stuff. Jokes. But the point is that the president is, here's the part I don't like, you guys. 2 points. You got to be scared when the president, he's not a stable person, so he's capable of doing crazy things, just like his recent weekend tariff moves. He is likely to get in a war just to prove a point. He has no philosophical points of view on anything. That's why he talks out of the side of his mouth all the time, because he doesn't have a position. So the problem is now he's more alone. I kind of don't want that, okay? In other words, he's stuck up there with Kelly. He's still got Kellyanne. He's got that other Stephen Miller, that other nut. So, he's increasingly isolated. Sitting up by himself in his own bed with his woman down the hall or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Eating McDonald's. He's isolated. And the problem that I'm concerned about is that as much as some of you might be enjoying this is the part that most scares me. See, the time between it coming to a real head and the actual impeachment, in that time when it's building to a head and the actual impeachment, now we have a president who's under fire all around. And it hasn't really jumped off like that, and it's already fairly tense. So in the minute when Mueller unveils, because I told you, part of my prediction was that the president would break so many laws. Remember, my quote was an orgy of evidence. I predicted an orgy of evidence. I predicted that the president would continue violating laws, breaking laws, all the way up to the time he was impeached. While he was being impeached, damn near, he would still be breaking laws. So I've told you that there's going to be a ridiculous number of charges brought. Do not be surprised if you hear 60, 70 instances. Absolute ridiculous numbers. So when that hits, that's why Mueller, you notice he's been quiet, not a peep. When it comes to Mueller, you can hear a rat piss on cotton.
Trump has an ally. He has Benjamin Netanyahu.
He's going down too, old BB. The other BB, he's going down.
You see, say it, man.
So, it's going down. The president increasingly isolated, and again, this is the part I was most afraid of, because this is where he could get irrational. We got to get him out of office, and that takes a certain amount of time. It could take longer. But with this tariff thing, which messes with all of their money, see, he's not a real Republican. He's not a real anything. He has no philosophies that are political. He could care less, about anybody. That's why when people say, is he racist? I say, well, see, people say, yeah, I go, yes, but he also doesn't like anybody. So he's everything. He's racist, sexist. He hates everybody. Even though he gave Norway a compliment, give him a second. He'll insult them. Because he hates everybody. So, that's the only reason why I say he's an equal opportunity bigot, racist, idiot, misogynist, all of those things. So I want you to beware. We're heading into a Trump crisis moment. I hope he's not as unstable. There's a question of his stability that we all don't know, and that is really scary. Most of us don't think it, but he's already proven that he would do stuff that none of us would have thought already. And so that's why it's really scary. It's scary because the president is capable of irrational activity, and that's what we're afraid of. So keep an eye out. Now, let me tell you something else, and I will say this again to remind you of another point that I made last year. President has a hardcore base, 32, 36%, whatever. It's a hardcore base. In that base, the issues that they have had are real legitimate issues. Okay? I'm not dealing with the guns on this. I'm talking about the economic issues about how the country's run in terms of those economics. The Democrats haven't capitalized on Trump at all. You would think everybody, no. So they have a bunch of people in limbo. The Democrats are not appealing to anybody. They haven't been able to capitalize on this at all because of their own incompetence, and the only thing they have is, we're not Trump. That's all they have. So moving forward, there's a leadership gap that's coming from the Democrats and is also, of course, supported intensely by the Republicans, who now, besides just being the party of bigotry, are the ass kissers of Trump to a degree that is obviously unsettling to most people. But anyway, this would not be a time, as we start to have these what we consider to be small victories against the president, this would not be a time to wave this in people's face. Like I said before, we need to have something. This will be a time to really galvanize folks, pull coalitions together by attempting to actually do something for that base. I know people say, what? Listen, it's because this is my age speaking. Because I want to move forward. To actually move forward, you actually have to do different things. Say we get the president's impeached, you still have all these people out there that are outraged, more outraged now. Same problems are existing, and you have a lack of leadership to apply to those same problems. In other words, the problems that led to Donald Trump occurred under Bush, occurred under Obama, too. There were conditions that led to the emergence of this force. And we have yet to do anything to address those issues. So if you think that we can get Trump out and then go back to the ways we used to be and do nothing, all we're going to be going back is to another round of political infighting. The problem is you don't have leadership to move forward. Because if you did, they would already be having something to say, about the president and moving forward. And they would be thinking, too, about how to bring us together. That's the problem. And I'm a leftist. You can't, but let me just tell you, there's no winning these kinds of battles, you guys. It's like fighting with your loved ones. It's like fighting with your old lady. If you think you won, it ain't over. Okay, okay, that's the bottom line. So if we win and we get Trump out of office, it ain't over. And not only that, we go back to what we had before, which involves a Democratic Party just as fractured almost as fractured as the GOP. That's where we'll be going back to the good old days. Right now, even once we solve this crisis, it throws us back into a world of crisis. So, this would be the time to think about doing something, really doing something, helping those areas. In terms, and I've said it before, helping the coal workers. And we ought to look across the country, and the places that are the worst economically, they should pay no tax. And we should fund programs. We should invest in people, invest in that infrastructure, even though you can't really talk about cutting back on defense, but you do need to shift monies, specifically from military to civil programming, specifically. I just said heresy. So there we are. Beware. We're heading into a crisis moment, and the president is circling the wagons. Ladies and gentlemen, the good news, bad news, and the other shit.